Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Are you looking for ways to help teach the alphabet for beginning learners and trying to help them grasp those foundational skills? If so, stay tuned to this video because I'm going to give you 2 tips for teaching the alphabet. So you're teaching the alphabet and you're looking for some innovative ways to help your student or your child grasp the content that you're trying to teach. So these are techniques that I used a few years ago when I was teaching in the K-12 classroom. I had pre-K, which was absolutely my favorite. That was my most favorite grade to teach because everything is music, everything is fun, everything is role play, everything is just hands-on, and so I absolutely loved it. So I would always kind of come up with these things to do with my students to help them learn the concepts. So as it related to teaching the alphabet, one of the strategies that I always used that seemed to work really well was I used, first of all, I did not teach the alphabet in order. Okay, so I didn't teach A first, then B, and so on and so forth. My personal choice for teaching it like that is because I have found that when you teach the alphabet like that, that rote memorization of basically singing the alphabet song, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so on and so forth, that they typically really don't know it. Okay, for me, true mastery is I can show you any letter in the alphabet and you can identify it. So when I did teach it in that manner where I taught them A, then B, and so on and so forth, I noticed that the kids really didn't grasp it. Some of them did and some of them didn't. So the method that I chose to use was I always started with the first letter of the kids' names, whichever one I had the most of. So let's just say, for example, I had the most, one year I had the most kids, their names begin with J. So that was the very first letter that I taught. And what I did with that was I taught the students the letter J, and then I identified the people in the room whose names begin with J, okay? And so from there, what that did was because they heard that initial, that sound, the majority of the time, because I had the most students in that class with that letter, it really helped them grasp the letter. And we talked about it for a whole week, and we started off with the names, okay? So let's just use me for an example, okay? My name is Adrian. So we would start with the letter A, and this works if you have your kids at home. If you have multiple kids and their names don't begin with the same letter, it's totally up to you how you want to do this. I just found this to be the easiest way. If you just want to pick one of their names to start with the letters, that's totally fine. If there is something that they're really interested in, so for example, if they love dogs and everything is about dogs for them, then you may want to start with the letter D, but it's totally up to you. For me, this was just the easiest way. So my name is Adrian, okay? A, right? And so then from there, what I would do, I would show them the letter A, and then I would show them a picture. So I may show them a picture of, depending on if it's them, I would show them a picture of themselves and say, who is that? And they would say whatever the name is. And then they would, I would make sure that I enunciate that beginning sound. Now my name is a little tricky because I have that long A sound, and we typically teach the letter A as ah. So it's a little tricky, so be careful with that. But you can teach them both, that the letter A says but it also says its name. And I do that with my pre-K students. I tend to do that later on in the semester, but I do teach them that all of our vowels have a short sound, and then they also say their name, A. So you can show them a picture, and you would say, who is this? And they would say, Adrian. Oh, Adrian. A, or A. Right? So it just gives them that connection between their names and that sound. And the reason why I do that is because they hear that sound most often. So if you're at home and you have the one child, and let's just say their names start with A, they hear you say that all the time. So when you start showing them the actual letter and then connecting it to them, it becomes real to them, okay? So that's just a quick little easy way that I like to start off. Again, it's totally up to you how you start. Just make sure that you can teach them in order. It's totally at your call. I have found that it works best when you randomly assign them letters, because then true mastery is actually earned. Okay? Step 2. Okay, so now we have the A for apple, and we can identify that this is Adrian, or A, right? Now, bring in concrete items that represent the sound that you are trying to teach, okay? So you have A, apple, apple. A is for apple, right? So it gives them something concrete that they can touch. They can actually repeat after you, and they know these pictures. You typically want to use pictures or concrete objects that they can actually, that they are familiar with, to actually really drive home your point of the letters and the letter sounds, okay? So we go from introducing them to themselves or other people and understanding that your name is Adrian, A, or if it's a short sound. And then we take them to that concrete representation of that an object that begins with that sound. Apple, And there you have it. Hey guys, like this video and want to see more? Remember to hit like, subscribe, and don't forget that little bell so you can stay abreast of all the tea that I'm spilling. So let's try with a different letter that's not so complicated. Let's look at the letter B. B, right? So we have the picture of a child whose name begins with a B. Let's say his name is Braylon, okay? So we have Braylon. Braylon. We're really intentional. I really am a teacher. We're really intentional about enunciating that first sound because it is the letter B, and we want them to recognize and hear that. Braylon. Right? So once we make that connection with them, then we go to step 2, where we're talking about concrete objects, right? Or pictures. Ball. Ball, right? And remember, we are doing this I do, we do, you do process for teaching them the letters as well as the pictures. So the I do, I'm going to model it for you. B, right? The we do, let's say it together. B, right? And then you do. What letter? And they should respond B, right? And then ball, ball. Let's say it. Ball, ball, right? And then lastly, they will do it themselves. What is it? Ball. What letter? B, right? The great thing about it is once you find pictures, again, you want to use pictures that they are really familiar with. So these are just some little pictures that I printed offline and just made. I have a popsicle stick and just made like a little puppet or of some sort, just to have. I've done this before and it works really well. If you laminate them, of course, they last longer. But boy, boy, B, boy. And you go through the whole I do, we do, you do process again. And then bird, bird, bee, right? So you're giving them, you're intentional about that first sound, letting them hear it. And these are pictures that they should be familiar with. If not, you know the children or your child better than me, so something that they are familiar with. But it really, really helps them grasp the content of what you're trying to do, especially when we are modeling and we are being really, really intentional about enunciating that sound to let them know that it goes with this letter. So those are my 2 tips for helping your little one learn the alphabet, okay? I hope that something was said that will help you and assist you in actually teaching them the alphabet and working with them. Remember, we want them to master it, not rote memorize it. Maybe I need to go back to school. But the idea is that we want them to be able to identify the letter. It does not matter when you show it to them or what you show them, that they can actually identify it, okay? So I hope that this helps you and this gives you some kind of insight. These are 2 great tips that I have used year after year, and they have really been successful for me teaching the students. Remember that phonemic awareness, that lower level of our hierarchy our reading skills pyramid, is we really need to master that in order to build on our skills to other things. So if we can master that, apple. If we can master that, then we can build on to those other levels. So that's it for me. I hope you guys will be able to use this and you find this useful. If so, like this video and leave me a comment below. Until next time, be blessed. As always, be a blessing. Class is dismissed.